Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce.
Hey everybody, this is Todd, the sports guru.
Justin, the goofball.
And Kay, who basically just knows how to drink at sporting events.
So we're taking a stab at a sports podcast, but we're more than just a typical talk about a game that happened yesterday podcast. We want to debate anything and everything correlating to sports.
It could be about if whether or not proposing at a sporting event is tacky or not, what sports movie has the best fake jerseys, but maybe go deeper. Could be the best college team. Can they beat the best pro team? Should the Olympics be abolished? And not to mention the day-to-day sports rivalries that keep the fire burning.
This is basically a podcast for all levels of sports enthusiasts.
Me and sometimes Justin are sports encyclopedias, stats, scores, insights at our fingertips, our knowledge behind the sport and the people, but Kay's expertise lies in the art of cheering for her favorite teams, even if she's, a little fuzzy on the rules.
With one diehard Vikings fan living in Seattle Seahawks territory.
An Alliance fan living in London, England.
And a guy who just adores the world of sports as a whole, even though I'm a little biased when it comes to Mariners baseball. It is bound for greatness.
With special guests, funny anecdotes, and interactive segments, Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is the ultimate podcast for sports fans and cheer enthusiasts alike.
Are you drinking?
Yes. Todd, I really liked how in last week's episode, when I was editing the video side of it, you were just sitting there basically just playing with your bobblehead
Well,
the entire time. It's like it's like Justin and I are mom and dad, and then we've got Todd, who's the little 6-year-old that we put in the corner.
Well, if you could diddle your own bobblehead, wouldn't you? I mean, I wonder how many times you flick it, it keeps nodding
I'll start with my prop. Okay, you weren't even born yet. This is from the 1990 Goodwill Games.
Oh.
I was born. I was a year old, thank you.
And then my dad got me this because he's like, it'll be a collector's item someday, son. So I will do the rest of the podcast with the 2002 Olympic. There's that.
Wow. Was that what all the Olympians wore as
What
their
year
way
was
into the opening series?
2002?
Well, the year was 2002.
Yes.
Yes, I
Was
believe
it
2002 was 2002.
Canadian.
Our year of our Lord.
What year? That was the headwear. So kind of French, but not.
But it wasn't in France then, was it?
No, should I?
What was in 2002? Where were the Olympics? See, this is how important the Olympics are, that unless it was 1984 Los Angeles, we don't
It was Salt Lake City.
That's right.
Oh!
It was.
Yeah. Again, it's barely America.
All right, 1 point.
No offense
Okay.
to all of the Mormons that are listening to this podcast. And for you. Fuck!
Man, I'm glad I didn't get born in France. 'Cause
True
there's no
story.
way.
I worked
Yeah.
for a guy who was a big sports ball nut, and he took the manager of the place I worked with him and his wife to the Winter Olympics because they were happening in Salt Lake City, and they were so excited because they're big hockey nerds. They're going to go watch all the Winter Olympics. Let's just say that he owned a bar, and the bar owner and the bar manager and the wife, 3 alcoholics, all went to Salt Lake City to watch the Olympics, and you know what they couldn't get? Fucking
Booze.
drink. And so they didn't have a whole lot of nice things to say about the Winter Olympics. And I was sober the whole goddamn time. I'm supposed to watch hockey like this. This is bullshit. They didn't even sell beer at the hockey arena.
Oh no, that's not American. Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin, Kay, and Todd, where no sport is off limits and the debates are, we've determined, debatable. But we are getting the conversation going for all of you at home. We want to get you involved as much as we possibly can. So we want your thoughts. We want your opinions on every debate that we have. Now that we finally have a YouTube channel, we finally have an Instagram, and you can find us at Sweat Socks Pod. We have an email as well. God knows what else we're going to get. A TikTok will come eventually when I've got time. We're all hoping that you guys get involved. And as always, we ask that you share, like, and subscribe. Justin and Todd's favorite part. And leave reviews. We may not be the #1 podcast, but I think are we happy with being like 84th place? Yeah? Is that good?
We're nowhere near 84th place.
We're like What number do you
No,
think we're at?
no, we're number 2, but we're not, if you know what we're saying. May I just ask what the hell is an Instagram? That sounds great. I want to get involved. How do I help? And those of you who are making comments,
You sign up for an Instagram.
okay, where do you do that?
On
Like on the
Instagram.
post? Do I mail this in? Is it
Yes.
in my Boy's Life magazine? I just fill it out.
Send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Oh, an SASE? Okay, I can do that. Trust me, I've dealt with things like this before. I was podcasting, so I know. Yeah, that'd be nice if people would chime in every once in a while, and not those of you who just have our personal phone numbers and decide to text us your commentary while you're listening. Does us no good. Shout out to
My favorite,
those of you.
my favorite part is when Todd is clearly copying and pasting a review and then sending it to our group WhatsApp chat.
Damn right. The fact that we're on WhatsApp is amazing. You have any idea what a stretch it's been for people of a certain age to try and get as technologically savvy as we have in this short amount of time?
I think I've just realized like the age group that we're going for is clearly like Todd's age and above. And I don't know why I'm bothering with the Instagram.
Okay, sorry we're not trying to hook the minors. You know, some of us have scruples. I did have somebody comment to me, I really like this, but I don't want to share it with my son because I don't want his mom to hear him use the word spinner. What?
What?
Part of the English language. Look it up.
I had to look that up when you referenced that. I was like,
You had to go to Urban Dictionary though for the
Right.
true definition.
Oh, man.
by the way.
The other day we were sitting around playing cards, me and my friends, and Noah had his friends over, and the song "Bitch" came on, and and Noah just looks, and you know, like when you have the on Spotify, you have the on your TV, and it just comes up really big, and so it just says "bitch" on the screen, and Noah just goes "bitch, bitch."
Oh,
I was like, oh, well done. I'm really proud of you.
sounds like the British school system is not failing your child. He's learning how to phonetically sound out words. That's wonderful.
He
Did you
nailed
explain
it.
to him what it was?
Well, then he asked, "What is it?" And we said female dog.
there you go.
We should get a bitch mum. I assume that's what he sounds like when he talks to you.
He does.
You don't know,
Oh.
Kay lives in England. Does your son call you mum? Or
Mummy.
Mummy?
Lovely.
Mummy, but he spells
You make
it
him wear knickers?
ooh. Don't say the word knickers. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's
wrong
like
with knickers?
panties. It's like panties.
You wear the panties under the knickers. Get this straight. Bollocks. I know
Who's
how-
wearing 2 pairs of underpants?
Oh, I thought knickers were overpants.
Right?
No, knickers are your underwear.
Knickers are like panties, but for men?
No, just for people.
Anybody
for
wearing
girls.
knickers? Okay, so panties and knickers are the same thing.
Yes.
We're bridging a lot of gaps here. We're not just talking sports. We're bridging the gap between civilizations, Kay. Do all knickers have to be like frilly and lacy or like strong?
Well, that's
or
what I imagine when they're talking about it.
when,
or when they
so
say
what do
it.
men wear? Men don't wear knickers?
They wear boxers.
Yeah.
Do they call them boxers in Britain?
Yes.
Interesting. Do you have non-boxers? Are everything boxers in Britain?
Right. So like boxer shorts are boxer briefs.
They're all
I think boxers
Boxer
are
fine.
like your regular like flappy ones. And
Uh-huh.
then I don't know what they call like tidy whities. I don't know what that is.
Have you seen a pair?
They exist, but
mean,
not
in
in this
England.
household.
All right. Do you dictate at all what kind of boxers your husband wears, or is that just gentleman's choice?
I just came in and he wore the correct kind and we just never talked about it again.
He doesn't ever try to like mix it up, just like
No,
you a
he
curveball?
doesn't try to like start freeballing it and stuff like that. No, he ain't a part of that.
When he was a potential suitor for you, like where is that in the ranking of, oh, he's got a great personality or he makes a lot of money? Where does the knickers, boxers?
What kind
what
of
is that?
underwear?
How much
I
weight
mean,
is put?
I think it's a solid top 2 situation, top 3 situation there.
really.
So that's a
good
deal
teeth.
breaker.
But
Good
it's a
teeth.
deeply
Good
sliding
teeth.
scale, though, right? Like the money thing. So long as like, I mean, the more the money.
Oh
it
no,
doesn't-
money.
it
Keep
doesn't
no.
turn out.
Keep the money down there. Keep the money down there. Good teeth. Wearing the correct underwear.
Huh?
That's my list.
Amazing with your standards so high, you were able to find someone. We know that the Olympic athletes will be wearing some semblance of boxers or knickers when they get to Paris.
That brings us to our debate this week. The Olympics. What are they good for? Anything?
A unity of the world coming together to celebrate one another and athletes. And despite our differences, we can all come together and compete. Unless, of course, you're Russia, then fuck you. Get out of here. You don't belong here. But otherwise, yeah.
The spirit of the games, friendship, excellence, respect. Citrus altius fortius for our Latin listeners. Faster, higher, stronger.
Oh,
Isn't that a song?
I thought that was just what I did at the last music festival I was at. But
Cities around the world used to vie to get the games, and now they can hardly get anybody to apply for it. It is so sparse. There was only 2 cities vying for this year's games, 2024, Paris and Los Angeles. And so they did an unprecedented move and announced both. They said, all right, Paris, you get in 2024. Los Angeles, you get in 2028, because by the time 2028 rolls around, we're not sure if anybody gets
It's like
and you can't we'll take backsies.
right.
You said you would. You got to do it. But at least, they still have some Olympic facilities from 1984 that they don't have to completely rebuild everything.
L.A. in 84 kind of broke the mold because they didn't build hardly anything. They said you can use the Coliseum
That's
that already
right.
exists.
That's right.
You can use the UCLA tennis courts that already exist. They didn't build much of anything.
See, that's fiscally responsible California, where they are very conscious of the tax dollars they spend. This is a lesson that the rest of the country should learn.
There's another reason why cities are no longer really going gung ho. And you can if you really go back in your history book, started in 1968, Mexico City. People started using the games to make kind of social, political statements, and started convening on the games to do these sorts of things. And then 72 comes along, Munich. They made a movie about this. Pretty good too.
There's no Olympics happening at all in it, by the way. It's really lame. I thought it'd be a
No,
great
it's
sports
because
movie.
people got killed.
Oh,
they shot
right.
people.
Oh, right, that.
Worry?
Yeah, absolutely. The Israeli team lost, I think, like 7 people.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of the situation.
No,
really know
but
what
then people were
happened.
like, yeah, this doesn't look good on a brochure at the Chamber of Commerce. Remember that last time we held the Olympics? Yeah, that was good times.
Want some ritualistic killings in your country? The Olympics. It's for you.
So we have to appeal to the more, you were just bitching about how you're doing a podcast with old dudes.
Yeah, who knows shit.
So the games are now trying to appeal, to the next generation. Which is why we now have breaking as an Olympic sport.
Unfucking
Break dance.
Breaking?
Yeah,
Break dancing.
Break dancing is referred to as breaking, and it will be an Olympic sport at Gay Paris.
And next year it'll be breaking to electric boogaloo. I just had to get an electric boogaloo reference.
Thank you.
in there.
We'll put that on the T-shirt. We finally got T-shirts and can koozies for the 4 years from now, Los Angeles. When this podcast is so big, we're broadcasting from L.A. We will be
I
at
want
those
an
games.
electric boogaloo beret.
Oh my!
Yes,
Be awesome.
please.
So, what we've determined is that breakdancing. We didn't even get to breaking in our podcast about Is It a Sport, because we thought that was no debate required. But apparently we were wrong.
Apparently we were wrong. I was listening to this podcast this week. One of my favorites. It's called "We're Here to Help" with Jake Johnson and Gareth Reynolds. I'm sorry,
It's other podcasts. You cheat on
yeah.
us?
I do. People call in with their problems to Jake and Gareth, and they try to help them out. And it's one of those things where it's like the weirder or stranger, the better the episode is. Anyway, so this past week there was this one person she called, and she was trying to get help from Jake and Gareth on how to convince her friends that marching band is a sport. And so I'm going back to my true roots, and I am saying, bring back marching band, color guard. It is a sport, and it needs to be in the Olympics. I'm going in hard.
But that would be a judge sport, which is why I hate the Summer Olympic. Well, why I like the Winter Olympics more
Well, no, you know
than
what?
the Summer Olympics, because I don't like sports that are judged.
That's right. Well, what if we altered it? What if we made it more of a race? All right, you need to march. You have to be in sync. You have to get from the finish line, from the start line to the finish line, and also you must complete the song in the time allotted. We give you a song. We give you a.
But
disc.
it's not about it's
That's
so. But
subjective.
they have to do formations. You can't just go from one end zone to the other end zone just playing a song. That's nothing. It's the
They
whole
already
making of.
have rhythmic gymnastics in the Olympics. We don't need any more fucking flag waving, ribbon twirling. Okay, no offense.
Rhythmic gymnastics.
Yes. Now, once again, I believe that rhythmic gymnastics is a female-only sport. Why is that? I don't
Well,
think
let's
that's fair.
let's start our own. Let's start our own rhythmic gymnastics
Team.
team. Yep,
I have
the
a
three of us are going to start it. Yeah, I have.
Which of the
If there was
which of the
one
devices
sport,
would you like to use, Todd? I've called the ribbon already. Do you want the
Yeah,
ball
right.
that you have to roll around on you?
the baton.
Oh, the baton. That's a
You
good
just
one.
Try to spin around and catch it before
Oh.
it hits the ground.
Absolutely.
I'll take the hula hoop.
There you go.
Is that one of them, the hula hoop?
I don't know. I'm just deciding that it is one of
Pretending
them.
like I know a lot about rhythmic gymnastics.
Out of all the sports that are offered up, and I even had to, there's like 5 new ones this year, I
think
believe,
so, yes.
that have never been before. Like, out of all of them, which one would you personally say you would have a snowball's chance in hell of not making a fool out of yourself?
I need to look and see which what they are first.
Table tennis,
Oh, I'm pretty good at table
ping
tennis.
pong, ping
Wait,
pong.
That ping pong has been before. An
It
Olympic sport
has,
before.
but not just the new ones, but out of all of them. Like, none of us are going to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds.
Yeah, but have you seen the people who play like that level of table tennis? You have no shot. They
For-
are incredible. They
Forrest-
stand 17 feet behind the table and are just
Forrest Gump did.
yeah.
They Forrest Gump that shit, don't they?
Story. Right? I'm sorry. Kiteboarding. I've always wanted to try that. It just looks very expensive and a good way to hang myself while my kids watch me dangling over the lake.
He was a good man.
You'd be able to do skiing, wouldn't you?
I could do
Justin
skiing.
could,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's just gravity for the most part. I wouldn't win. But I would compete in it.
Yeah, right.
I'm not quite aerodynamic enough, and I don't want to squeeze myself into one of those spider suits to try. But yeah,
Yes,
men's-
please.
What the is men's artistic swimming? This
Well,
is
then
one of the
that's
new sports.
Okay, then that's the answer. So it's not sexist to rhythmic
Gymnastics. Okay,
gymnastics.
fair enough. Now the
Right.
marathon race walk mixed relay. That sounds
I
like
could
something
do that.
we get in. We could.
That
get in.
done. That's mine.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like it's a relay, so it's more than 1K. You're going to need teammates. And
Well, it ain't gonna be one of you two.
always going to be your other shitty podcast that you like to name drop on.
No, not either of them either.
Helpful. Here's how to not do it. That's your takeaway.
I would think I could break. I could break in. First of all, I've got a tracksuit. Secondly, I've got cardboard. Thirdly, I could acquire a boombox, and I don't know what else you need.
I've got cardboard.
Well, Justin and I were talking in the bowels of the studio here the other day that our good friends at Adidas and Fila are probably going to see a spike in sales.
They are
after-
licking their chops right now.
Right.
But honest question, do the quote-unquote athletes need to supply their own cardboard, or will there be like a BYO, or is there like an Olympic sanctioned piece of
These
cardboard?
people, they're taking all their Amazon boxes. They're walking in.
I ordered something, had it sent to Paris, so I didn't have to ship my own cardboard. Smart.
No,
Smart.
did you see that they're actually their beds are cardboard beds? Have you
Yes.
seen this video?
And
So
are
they're
doing
just
that-
gonna bring out their beds and just use those.
That's smart. You know why they did the cardboard beds? They're trying to dissuade the athletes from getting a little too frisky in between their competitions. Apparently, they're trying in the city of love. In
Right.
Gay Paris, they're trying to say no banging in between because that's the other reason that these Olympic athletes all get together once every 4 years. They say like, there are like-minded individuals here at the pinnacle of athletic excellence. Let's see how long we can bang.
Right. What year was it when they were handing out condoms
Yeah.
to all the athletes?
That's right.
Because
And now they're going the exact opposite direction and giving them cardboard beds.
turns into Caligula. You
That's
know,
right. It's just one big orgy of all these beautiful people. And then again, you got like the shot putters. Like, why doesn't anybody want to hang out with me? He's just
Hey,
sitting
I
alone
was a
in the
shot
hot tub.
putter. I was a shot putter once.
Oh, well,
I could
bet
go
you
hang
there's
out
some
with them.
corn-fed guy from Iowa sitting in a hot tub in Paris right now with a hairy back, wishing that somebody else would start a conversation with him. Kay.
I'd come in like a little angel that I am, coming down from heaven. The woman of your dreams is here.
Of course, he's looking around at all the Olympic athletes, and he sees you. He's like, "Well, I guess."
I guess you'll do.
Any port in a storm.
That's right.
She's got little spaghetti legs, but hey,
Probably won't
I'll
break the
take
cardboard bed so long as I'm not on it too.
The cardboard beds. That's
Yeah.
legit.
That's wild that they would do that. That would be part of the reason that I would want to be an Olympic athlete, because they just talk. I mean, there are stories of legend about like these people just like run through. I mean, it is a marathon of use of contraception and nonstop at the Olympics. The fact that like there isn't just like every Olympic athlete doesn't have chlamydia and herpes by the end of
So
it is
that
just
should
a
be-
testament that just
They
how
should do.
rigorous they are.
They should do like a test and see how many of them come out with an STD. What percentage?
That should be an event, though, like speed copulation.
I'll join
But
that one.
At the same time, I get the people like the sprinters, but I think there should also be a marathon category, like who also like an endurance challenge. There's an ultra marathon.
Is it like how many or how long?
That's what I'm saying. There should be different categories. How many? How fastest too? I mean, you can make it a sprint if you want. Hey, I won. And then you've got those who just keep going. Like, let's see who can go the longest.
Speed whacking.
You know, it's kind of bringing the Olympics back to its origins, because athletes used to compete nude, and so they have like scholars have done these theories, and one of the theories is is that to be nude in public without an erection demonstrated self-control.
I haven't been able to pull it off.
And so that made them like more masculine and more awesome, that they
Oh,
could
I
not get a
see.
boner.
I'm seeing who salutes. Oh, they're playing the song. That's
Yeah. It has nothing to do with the lady who put the medal on me. They're playing my nation's anthem, and it just gets me standing at attention every time.
Could you imagine in this day and age, all these dudes and all these chicks being naked?
Well, you want to talk
Doing
about a
it.
reason for people to actually pay attention to the Olympics again? Here we go.
Bring it back!
we should be leading the IOC.
You know, if we were in charge of the IOC, it would be a money-making organization. I know they're a for-profit organization, but I know that they have a hard time, rubbing two nickels together. At least the cities that put these on do, but
Everybody else is paying good money to get certain things streamed to them. Like, hey, over here on the alternate channel, we've got the nude games.
the Olympics OnlyFans.
Maybe that's what we do. We do like a separate thing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, because, it's like NBC, NBC Sports, NBC2, NBC The Ocho, also streaming and on our app, and check out the OnlyFans. Like, they mention at the very end, kind of whisper.
Right.
We could direct that. The trick
Oh
is just
my
convincing the
gosh.
athlete that this is a thing. Oh, no. For this particular heat, we need you to go ahead and take the knickers off. Thank you.
So do we get to join in?
If you want
Or
to.
are we strictly professional on this one and just judging it?
I'm not an exhibitionist, Kay, so I guess it's buyer beware. If you would like to, and I'm sensing that you would like to, then I think yes. That's
Just seems like it'd be a good time, doesn't it?
Well, it is Paris. The other thing, now that I'm thinking about it, well, there are a lot of finely tuned athletes. I think there are some sports that, yes, they should be nude, and others they should not. Let's just say.
Like what?
Well, I'm just thinking of like some of the, like Eastern European quote unquote women who like, will they remember to shave their backs before they get into this? It's a fair question. Some of the heftier folks and some of the, again, more of the like shot putting, hammer toss, caber toss. Do they do caber toss at the Olympics? I'm just.
Sure, Highland.
What's a caber toss?
Whoa. You know what? All your listeners in Scotland just tune you out and they're like, fuck off. This is why they still hate England, Kay. You ignorant twit.
I was going to say, well, they're saying fuck off anyway because I live in England, so what does it matter?
That's true. Caber toss is a fantastic sport. That should be an Olympic sport, in my opinion. Imagine just taking
that
a
would be
giant
awesome.
log, having to
Yes.
fucking pick it up, and then run with
A
it as far as you can.
telephone pole.
A telephone pole, and then
Oh.
toss it as far as you can, which is all of like 4 feet, but still, like the
And
fact.
wearing a kilt.
Yes, that's right. And I'm sure there's alcohol involved.
Be all right with that. Coming from
Amazing.
a long line of Scotsmen and women,
Yes.
and I have the liver to prove it. That would be badass, actually. They should adopt some of that.
They should.
Before we get into more of a debate as to apparently what sports should be an Olympic sport, is that what it should be? An Olympic what sports?
What sport should be added to the Olympic Games?
Added to the Olympic Games. Thank you very much. Todd, do you have any news for us?
Well, I was going to break the LeBron James being the U.S.'s flag bearer, and apparently you're Johnny on the spot. Apparently the women's representative for the U.S. team is supposed to be announced anytime right now.
We have one of each? I didn't realize that.
They're doing.
I'm proud of that. Well, and LeBron is the first basketball player to ever carry the flag for our nation, and this is voted on by all of the other Olympic athletes. Of course, he's probably the largest one, so he probably stood there and kind of with arms folded, like, yeah, you can vote for whoever you want, but
it's an honor, though. I mean, you have to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, for being like the third or fourth best player in the history of the NBA, I think that's a pretty good honor for him.
That and whoever gets to light the final.
Oh, yeah.
The cauldron.
They never tell us till the very end, right? Wait.
That's right.
Are we taking bets? So, like, by the time this gets actually out there, we'll probably know, but which Parisian would be the one to...
Is it always a person of the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Or of the country.
Right. Like
of the country, I mean.
Unless you're Paris, France, and you got no real athletes that can do that.
And they surrender.
And they... I was going to do it, but I passed the torch to someone else. Let me back up real quick out of here.
One of the more stunning, memorable, at least for me, was 96 Atlanta, which everyone remembers because of the bombing. But Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, Parkinson's setting in, and it was moving.
100%. What about the one where they shot the lit?
That was awesome. Was that Calgary?
I think it was Calgary. It was a Canadian archer. So, you didn't really know who they were, but they, had a lot of pressure on them. They actually had to fire a flaming arrow and hit the target, although they probably had a little pilot light in there just in case they missed. But
it was cool. It looked cool.
Wow.
Grandiose. Yes. Yeah.
It's like a real-life Katniss Everdeen.
No. Oh, if only Katniss was Parisian. Yes. Oh, speaking of Katniss Everdeen,
you know where I'm going.
Did you see the uniforms that the Mongolian Olympic athletes are going to be wearing? Do they think it's the fucking Hunger Games?
Move over, Katniss Everdeen. Look at us, bitch. We looking fly.
They're
looking
pretty cool.
Looking intense. I gotta be honest. I feel like if you mess with them, they're going to use some kind of 5-finger death punch move on you. That you
I know. It's like, dude, we have to play against Genghis Khan.
You want to talk? Yeah, the entire when they walk into, or I suppose they're not walking; they're riding in on those in the boats in the river, right? The entire city of Paris is going to surrender, just as a precursor. Right. I also wanted to mention that when we never decided which Parisian athlete would light the Olympic torch. It doesn't matter so long as they're able to do it with a cigarette. I think that all of them would step up and be able to do it. Is Vlade Divac French?
Oh, he's Slovakian or Yugoslavian.
Right. I'm trying to think of one French athlete. They've got some tennis players, right?
Well, that's one of those sports that only comes around every 4 years at the Summer Games is fencing. And aren't the French typically
the étui? Yes, yes,
touche.
The épée, touche, and yada yada. Okay, right. So there you go.
What a boring sport.
Also, one of the most rigged.
I mean, if it was real, you actually got all stabby.
Oh yeah,
that would be more compelling.
This is true. That is one of the most rigged sports in the world that they've had more problems
controversy.
Yeah, well, just people rigging fights for betting purposes.
Right.
That's so.
Yeah, I'm not tuning in for that. Is there any event that you're like, I will sit on my couch and watch?
I always like the swimming for summer. I always like swimming. Oh, I guess not.
I can go watch my kids in the pool do that. I don't
know.
know.
Like a survival.
Swimming is fun when you've got Michael Phelps.
28.
Oh, God.
Medals.
That man.
Yeah, but you're just watching him try to chase history. That's all. It doesn't really matter if he lost one. You're like, fuck this, I'm done. What else is on? Legitimately watching reruns of The Office now. It's
Gymnastics is good. The gymnastics ones is always good.
It's okay, but again, I just don't. Was that good? It seems like that was good, but their score. Why wasn't the score good? If America's good at it, I'm in, and that really is the draw to me. If we are going to do well, that's what we like in America. Winners, champions. And I'll watch that all day. I'll jump on that bandwagon all day long. That's why, and I'll say this, and this is a Winter Games thing. Nobody gave a shit about curling in this country until some folks from northern Minnesota, by the way, hoisted gold at the Winter Games. And
All these dad mods out there.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah,
Mr. Schuster, shout out to you and your curling club for making it
That's
happen.
right.
All of a sudden, curling became a thing that everybody wanted to do. So
Curling is so awesome, but like beside that, the other obscure ones, like what's the one where they like go down skeleton? Skeleton. Love skeleton. The other one, the luge thing, that's always fun.
what's the difference between skeleton and luge?
Is
I
one
honestly
person
don't know.
versus two?
Oh, is the skeleton? There's two people. Do they do? Yeah. Or is it head first?
I don't
How
remember.
come nobody ever head firsts it?
Head first?
Yeah. Don't be a
Don't
pussy.
remember.
Get your head down there. You probably go faster.
it's true.
Of course, it was luge or skeleton. It was one of those in the Winter Olympics. This is probably, I don't know, 14 years ago, 13 years ago, where like some guy like died on the track. That's all I could watch for the next 3 days. It was like NASCAR, but even like crazier.
Should there be an element of like this could be fatal
Yes. Yeah, that definitely.
to make you tune in?
Yeah, that's why like the Super G in
Yes.
skiing is so crazy, or like the ski jumping, even though they don't get that far. That looks terrifying. Nothing I would want.
But I think that's why the Winter Olympics are better. I think we all agree on that. I think that we all agree that the Winter Olympics are better than their Summer Olympics because they are. I do feel like the Winter Olympics, based on the sports that they have, they are more risk orientated than I mean, what we've got tennis, we've got basketball, we've got. I mean, it's just
javelin,
not.
you could kill someone if they're not paying attention, but that's only everybody is. So there's never.
I turned out for track in high school, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go start your first day of practice shagging javelins." That's how much they wanted me.
I was in high school. I watched.
That'd be cool though.
I watched a kid take a discus off the cranium. It was pretty impressive. He lived. But I
Those things
think
are pretty heavy. Yeah.
indeed they are. Especially, I remember the guy throwing it. His name was Londo Thompson, or Londo. Called him Londo for short. He was a large man, and he was the best, track athlete on our team. Shot put, discus, all of it. And he chucked that thing, and this poor kid had he's just walking right through. No idea. The fact that he somehow survived, a miracle.
Oh no!
I don't think he went on to college,
no.
but he's alive still, I think, probably, maybe.
See, whenever I threw the discus, and if anybody was in the way, it would just be like, doink, oh, what was that? A pebble? Never was able to throw it that far or that hard.
So, but you were a shot putter.
Yes, but I also was not good. I wanted to join the track team because my boyfriend at the time was on the track team. And so I did what I could do or could not do. I tried the running, I tried the distance, I tried the sprinting. I wasn't good at any of them. And so then the coach was like, why don't you just join us over here and we just won't count you for anything, but you can join the team.
That sounded like my track experience. I was told like it was in football season. Well, you got to do track or something. So I did track, and they're like, why don't you go?
Who's the guy
shot
with
put?
the gun? He's the starter. I want to be that guy.
I was in the OnlyFans kind of Olympics of just making out with my boyfriend the entire time.
Nice. I hope you didn't distract him from actually achieving some kind of.
No, you know what? When we would make out and then he would go do his hurdles race and then he would come in first. Go figure.
Used to coming. Never mind.
Yes. Fantastic. Hey,
Nationalism, I
Yes.
think, is what we're getting down to. Is why we still. I am not a guy that pledges allegiance to a piece of cloth.
No.
I really don't, and I don't really get all bunched up about supposed patriotic things. But I am a sucker, like you mentioned earlier, Justin. If I'm like, the USA, and like we got somebody that might meddle, then I'm a little more. My proclivity might lean
100%.
to a sport that I would otherwise not care at all about.
Yeah, this is why like gymnastics I care, because we typically do pretty well in gymnastics, swimming, and yeah. How about water polo? That's a fascinating sport. They show way too much of it. They cover way too much of it, but it is a fascinating sport once you realize that they're actually swimming the whole time.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
You've never watched the Olympics thing, because I feel like for 9 days straight they just beat you to death with the water polo. You get kind of tired of it.
No.
But it's an impressive sport.
Because the first 4 or 5 days are all like compulsory and pool play, not literally pool, but
Why isn't that an Olympic sport?
what's that?
Pool? Billiards?
Oh, like billiards.
Snooker, 8-ball,
Snooker.
bumper, whatever you want to do. It's fine. I do think this
It
year,
should be.
one thing that I will pay attention to is actually the basketball, just because, at least on the men's side, because
The rest of the world's catching up.
yeah,
to the
it's
United
actually
States.
gotten interesting. It's competitive now.
It's
It
no
was
longer
fun to
But
watch
it's-
the dream
but
team.
it's that it goes back to that whole thing where like the entire game of basketball is just so boring until the end.
You're right about that. You are not wrong. However, there is something really important on the line, and that is America still being number one in a sport that Canada invented, and that is something that we need to keep. By the way, Canada invented it, and then we figured out cut a hole in the beach basket, you jackasses. For that, ladder out and climbed up and took the ball out. How Canadian is that? Hey, and then some American came along. and was like, "What if we cut a hole in this thing? Look at that. The ball drops back down.
Sorry.
This is going. Yeah, sorry. Gotta hold on a sec. Gotta get the ladder. Hey, Tim, go fetch the ladder. Look, we'll have a crawler."
Did the coach take the team to Tim Hortons if they won or lost?
Yes. We won 6-2. It was a good game. It took 3 hours because we couldn't find the ladder.
I like how you're crapping on Canadians when, as a Minnesotan, Justin, you're pretty much Canadian.
We are called the Florida of Canada by me, and people mistake us for them all the time. But you know what? We are proud Americans, and not just North Americans. Nay. We are the shield for the rest of you. You're welcome. We are the wall of the North. Thank you.
Listen, I'm sorry. I share a river with Canada, being from Detroit. I understand.
Yeah, but that's
we
like
also
Toronto.
love.
That's like basically America. Please.
That's not Toronto.
Saying on
It's
the other
Windsor.
side, Windsor, but yeah, that's basically America over there. And for whatever reason, we never feel like nobody ever says Michiganders are Canadian. Why is that?
I don't know.
You're Yoopers.
Yeah, your Yoopers sound pretty Canadian,
Yeah.
if you ask me. There's nothing.
Not
there's
like
nothing more
not
insulting
no, not like
more
you
insulting.
Minnesotans.
than a Yooper being mistaken for a Minnesotan. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Now the gloves are coming off.
Gloves are off. Gloves are off.
How do you have that part of the land of the state anyway? Why isn't that Wisconsin? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, don't you take Wisconsin side.
On the only thing I ever would, it just makes sense. It's the same reason I don't know why we have a teeny tiny little top hat on the top of Minnesota. No idea.
When I
why
was a
that is.
kid, I thought that was the North Pole. I swear to God, because the news would come on and the weatherman would go, the lowest temperature recorded in the lower 48 today was International Falls, Minnesota. And I look it up on a map. I thought it was the North Pole. I thought Santa Claus lived there. I swear to God.
He does.
He pretty much does.
He does. That's right.
It's
Again,
the
we don't
second
know
pole.
why. We're just here. Rooting them all on, by the way, Michigan, Minnesota, to a lesser extent Wisconsin, if they're participating in the Olympic Games.
All right. This is totally unscripted off the number one Summer Games memory for as long as you've ever tuned in. Like what? Like one thing that you go, oh man, that was really cool, or I remember when that happened.
Interesting. That's a good question. That's an excellent. Kay?
I don't know about summer games. I think I was in Alaska when the Olympics happened in 2012. That was London, wasn't it? That was Michael Phelps's year, wasn't it?
Well, he was in several years, but you mean like his last year where he
Like
set
the
all
big. I think it was like the big one.
Okay.
And
And
I'm- yeah, and I remember watching it at a friend's place, and then we all went frolfing. That's about the extent of.
also, why is that not an Olympic sport? You kidding me?
I mean, come on now.
Especially, I'm not saying they get carts. They got to walk the course. I think they should absolutely be athletes. Did it with ultimate frisbee. See those people? My God, that takes all kind of an incredible skill set.
I'll give you ultimate frisbee. I'm not so sure that I'm here for the frolfing, but ultimate frisbee is definitely that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of skill, and I'm there for ultimate frisbee in the Olympics.
My only guess as to why it has not been because they've said that there would be drug testing and basically nobody would be able to compete.
Nobody would pass.
But other than that, it really should be. I do think, back in the original Dream Team, I think that's probably one of the most memorable things for me, just because, that's peak, like, USA kicks fucking ass, and we went in there and just destroyed the world. It was It was kind of boring.
It was blood. Just how many points?
Yes, that's
is
right.
it going to be?
It was so fun to see the greatest basketball players, well, of my generation. This is back when I paid attention to the NBA, all on one team, and then Christian Laettner throwing down.
You had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan all in the same.
Wow.
The Admiral. David Robinson is on this team. I think Hakeem Olajuwon. He might have been. I don't know.
Think so. Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler is on this team. It was
That's incredible.
Outstanding. I think Dominique Wilkins was on the team.
John Stockton.
Oh, Karl Malone had to be on
the
team.
mailman.
Yeah, there it is.
They
this is back when they had
people.
nicknames even. I mean,
I was going to say, why is a mailman playing on this team? Who? Why did they call him the mailman?
seems redundant. He's both male and man. We get it.
Well, he's apparently the father of our country, so he always delivered because Karl Malone's.
He did deliver.
Sean Kemp,
What about you, Todd?
father of our country. What's
Oh,
that?
my.
My favorite
What about-
moment, Olympics. This was just turned into a full-length feature film. It's very good. The book is even better. 1936, University of Washington, the boys in the boat, taking down Nazi Germany in what is considered at the time the greatest team sport, 8-man crew. And they put the U.S. in the worst lane, even though they had the best trial run. And Hitler was like, no way, no how. And photo finish, and University of Washington brought home the gold for the U.S. And that was the Jesse Owens Olympics.
And that's Todd's
Didn't
favorite
you-
memory of the Olympics.
I was going to say, didn't you ask about our favorite memory?
You're doing a podcast with old guys, Kay.
We're not going to ask how old he is.
1936.
Who was... Now, I feel terrible. I am forgetting his name. He was an Olympic athlete, arguably one of the greatest of all time. He was from Minnesota originally. He was an indigenous person, and they stripped him of all his medals afterwards because he had at one point before that gotten paid like $10.
Maybe arguably the greatest athlete of all time,
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe, thank you. I apologize, and I feel terrible that I forgot his name. Yeah, no. Okay, that's my favorite Olympic athlete memory then. Sure.
Touche with my, what do you call him, foil.
Yes.
Ha-ha.
Touche. That means touch, by the way,
Right.
which makes no sense. What is stab in French? Like, it makes more sense.
Touche means touch?
Yes.
Does it?
Looks just like it, except it's got an E with a little dealio on that.
Oh, my God.
When they touche you with the end of their epi.
Point. It means point.
Yes,
You know,
or foil.
You,
Again, take all that gear off and really swing at each other.
and that's a part of why it's so boring, because they have to wear their face mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't see anybody.
Yeah.
And they're all in white. They look like bakers or something.
They look like they work for Squid Games. It's
Right.
just not.
Yes, they do. They
But
do.
there's no blood and gore or carnage, so.
They do.
So
Could they
let's
at
put them
least-
in the Genghis Khan Mongolian unis. And then, let's have some Hunger Games in the
That's right.
Olympics.
Replace the epi with a couple of scimitars or whatever we want to use. Let's make this interesting.
Do you think that the Olympics should stay in one spot, or do you think that it should continue to travel around? Which we've kind of said in the beginning that it's not really working because a lot of cities are being like, no, fuck this. I don't want to put
Summer
all my
Games,
money
if they
into
were in
this.
Athens, the origin, I'd be all right with that.
It'd be cool.
So like one for the summer,
more
one for the
train.
winter.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I get it. People want to host it because it gives, brings the spotlight to their country, their city. But at the same time, I don't know. Why not just have it in one place? You don't have to keep building all this shit. You're just throwing money away. You build all of these arenas and stadiums, and then they just sit there not being used for the rest of their existence. What a waste of taxpayer money. What a waste of resources. Why can't we just build one island, like Olympic Island?
Yeah.
And we just go there once every 4 years. And then you
Who would own it? Just all of the countries would own it, except for Russia.
Except for Russia, yeah, they don't get to own it. But everybody else gets a stake in it. And that means everybody else has to foot the bill. So we all chip in together. It's kind of socialist, but you know what? It's the Olympic Games. And then every 4 years, we hire some people. We send them out there. They get there early. They clean up, make sure everything's running. They send the carnies out there to make sure the Ferris wheel is turning correctly. And then open up the cotton candy machine and let's have some fucking Olympics.
It must save it. It would save us money if we did this. Cities hosting the Olympics incur significant costs, starting at $50 million to $100 million for bidding. The bidding process alone.
I was going to say,
so now imagine.
E in front of that if you're talking about what it actually costs.
Yeah, so just for the bid alone. And then imagine if you lose that.
Ugh.
Right.
Right?
You
Exactly.
need to get a job at the
So
IOC.
Tokyo, they spent $150 million and failed in 2016 bid, and $75 million on a successful 2020 bid. How are they recouping this? I just don't understand it. So if we take that money and we buy an island, all of the countries, I think we're saving everybody money.
Build an island. Why not?
Right.
You know what you do? You start now. We've got a problem with trash in the ocean. Let's just start piling it up in one spot.
There you go.
You know, it's like that's how they make golf courses. You make you have a landfill eventually until it's full, and then you
Lower Manhattan, for crying out loud, is just
Trash Island.
SpongeBob built Karate Island. I think
and he's just a
and
sponge.
he's in the bottom of the ocean. Karate Island.
Ah, well, there we go. We start piling up all the world's garbage, all the plastic in one
There you
place, and eventually we put some sod on it, and next thing you know, we've got Olympic Island. God, we've solved so many problems today. You're welcome, world.
So many problems. Justin, we need your wise words of wisdom before we wrap up this episode.
God, I forgot about
You need to start preparing these.
that. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I have listened to us discuss all of the ins and outs of the Olympics and all of the sports that are there and some that shouldn't, and we never got to the most important sport that is not being represented this or any year: competitive eating. These are the greatest athletes of our and any time. To do what they do to themselves and survive is an absolutely unbelievable feat, not ever achieved by any generation before. Joey Chestnut has done things to the human body that none. He is the Ivan Drago of competitive eaters. I don't know if they built him in a lab. I don't know what kind of enhancements he has done to himself, but to be able to eat whatever it was, 178 hot dogs in 3.5 minutes, is just something that can't be repeated. Might I also add that the Americas, while we focus on bullshit like immigration, gun control, get Joey Chestnut a fucking medal. Are you kidding me? This is a sport that we would dominate, and not just this, but for generations to come. USA! USA! USA!
That's one thing I didn't write down. Like, what's appealing about the Olympics? Mob mentality. I'm only here for the riot.
Thanks for joining Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin, Kay, and Todd. Remember, you can watch the show on YouTube. We've got our Instagram up and running at Sweat Socks Pod. And if you want to chime in, feel free to send us an email at sweatsockspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, stay sweaty.
Is that the sign off? Stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.
And I guess
Stay saucy.
stay sweaty.
She said
Stay sweaty.
Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is hosted by Todd Lyons, Kay White, and Justin Michaels.
Our theme song made by Pat Leonards.
And the album artwork is by Mike Willis.